stuck there. I don't know. That's because I had Bitterbola and now I'm fucking there. It gives me power! Amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome our next storyteller. Please go wild and crazy for my friend Sarah!
I'm here to tell you tonight about the story of Dead Keith. And strap in, it's clearly an emotional one, right? Why Dead Keith? A couple reasons. First, you may have sussed out, Keith is indeed dead. Secondly, calling him Dead Keith is not hurting him in any sort of way. He had this deliciously dark sense of humor, and I know that he is wearing the badge of Dead Keith honor really, really well. So you can also laugh. Thirdly, I have another friend, Keith, who I call Alive Keith. To his face, because there has to be a differentiator, right? Side note, Alive Keith struggles with depression, and to say that he doesn't think about joining Dead Keith in the dark abyss would be a lie. I like to think that he stays around because he knows I couldn't possibly have two Dead Keiths in my friend group. Couldn't do that, so he stays. But Alive Keith, that's another story for another time. You should also know that I met Keith during the You've Got Mail and AOL era. It's been a while ago, right? And we didn't really click immediately, but we did have a speedy dial-up connection. And another thing you should know is that back in it was the late 90s, early 2000s, we were in Springfield, Illinois. And so Springfield is not like Amsterdam of 2025, where toddlers are crawling out of the closet being, hey, girl, I'm gay. No, it wasn't even Amsterdam of 1970, where gay marriage was already legal. No, we were in Springfield, home of Abraham Lincoln, the state fair butter cow, and a fuck ton of homophobia. But I had just had my heart broken by my first girlfriend, and I was sort of creeping out of the closet. And to meet up with this gay OL friendship group and of intimidatingly handsome men, and to feel like I belonged in a new city, in a new space, felt pretty good. And so we became fast friends, and we settled into our rhythms quite quickly. So it was Friday night, Keith's house, day drinking, power naps, showers, pre-club drinks, club, party on the roof afterwards, Saturday morning, hangover cures, power nap, showers, pre-club drinking, club, party on the roof afterwards, Sunday morning, hangover cures, lunch, we did eat occasionally, power nap, day drinking, lather, rinse, repeat for years on end. We were very well known in the clubs around town. What else do I want to tell you about Keith there? I wrote these notes and now I don't remember what they mean. One thing that you should know about Keith, though, as well, as deliciously dark as his humor was, he was also extremely kind. So every Friday night, we would have the same banter back and forth. I'm like, oh, no, I'm broke. Because I always was fucking broke. I'm broke. I'm not going to go out. I'll do the pre-drink and I'll stay in. You guys go without me. Like, no, Sarah, let's go. Just come. And he always had a couple bucks for drinks in the bar with me. And what was lovely about him is he never made me feel bad about it. He never said anything at all because he was an incredibly kind human. Kind, but at the same time, when he was watching The Wheel of Fortune, an American game show, he would say, oh, I feel so sorry for those people when they win and nobody comes up to celebrate them. But then I also kind of think, like, maybe they're a bit of an asshole. So television, and later on it was cooking shows, reality shows. Those were his vices. And then once Twitter and Facebook came around, he really got into his groove of snarkiness, and it was so delicious to watch. But I really want you to understand what it was like to be friends with Keith. Imagine you have this really warm, fresh out of the oven, chocolate chip cookie. And in your other hand, you have this ice cold glass of milk. But you also have just a touch of lactose intolerance. all the ability to make you feel warm and secure and yummy and just like edible childhood. And then with the ability to maybe shit your pants. That was what it was like being friends with him. Very, very give and take. So my 20s, man, they were the best years of my life. And Keith was at the center of that. We had our struggles that were similar. We were all struggling with our sexuality, with our parents, with our jobs, with our careers. And then later on down the road, we struggled with new things like buying houses and adopting a dog or having children and sometimes marriage. And we traded the stamps at the clubs for stamps at the bingo hall. It went very quickly. And then I moved away, first down to Southern Illinois, and Keith always made it a point to come and see me. And then I moved an ocean away to Wales. And he and his partner, Josh, of 18 years, were the first to book a trip to come see me and go on adventures together. But Sarah, this is about dead Keith. I'm getting there. We're almost there. 2015. I had just gotten home to Illinois, where I'm from originally, if you can't tell from my thick Midwest accent, because I was going home every year. And I had just pulled into my uncle's driveway, and my friend TJ was on the phone. And it was a phone call that I will never forget. Sarah, Keith has cancer. He went to the hospital yesterday. His leg gave out on him. And it's lung cancer. It's everywhere. And it's terminal. He has 18 months to live. Nope. Not our Keith. There is no way. Of all of us, he was the absolute healthiest. He went to the gym 5 days a week. He ate really well. He was the least that we would expect to be sick. But not only that, he might have had cancer, but there's no fucking way that it was terminal, because they don't know our Keith. But maybe you've experienced it before, but cancer doesn't always care about things like that. So my boys and I, we gathered around, we strategized. We're going to get him the best foods, the best medicines, the best supplements, Eastern medicine practices. We were going to go all out. We had 18 months. We didn't know what we were going to do, but we sure as hell were going to try our best. And we did. We got him all the things. We got him into all the trials. We got him all the great foods. We got him everything he could possibly want. At one point, my friend TJ, he said to me, hey, I found this trial down in Texas, and I'm gonna send Keith and Josh down there so they can do that. I was like, oh, TJ, that's so nice. He's like, yeah, what's the point of having money if you can't save your friend's life? Oh, yeah. So that was 2015. In 2016, I was saying goodbye to my friends as I was coming back to the Netherlands. And I hugged Keith, and I said, hey, stay alive. And he gave me that little impish smile that he had, and he's like, I'll do my best. And I knew that he would. And then 2017 comes around, 2 years later, and I got a call from TJ again. And I knew it as soon as I saw his name. Sarah, I drew the short straw. I'm the one who has to tell you. The funny thing is, and the humor is not lost on me, that fucker waited until I was in Disney World, the happiest place on earth, before he decided to die. So one final punchline. At the ripe age of 45, Keith earned his nickname of Dead Keith. Tornadoes had ripped through the Midwest, and so I was unable to get back to the funeral. But my friend Jeff called me right after and walked me through the entire thing. They had printed out some of his snarkiest tweets and Facebook posts. My friends got together and reminisced about those great times almost 20 years ago at that point. I didn't go to his grave for a while, but I kept having these reoccurring dreams. And I was going to Keith and Josh's house, and I was there to help them move, but they didn't know that they had to go. And this dream was just on loop. I was there to help him leave, but he didn't know that he had to go. And I thought, well, maybe if I go see the grave, then maybe I'll get some peace. And so we drove up to the cemetery, which was locked. It was closed. Very funny, Keith. Next summer, I'll try it again. We did get into the cemetery this time. We did. And we couldn't find his headstone. I had everybody on the phone. Where is his fucking headstone? They could not navigate me. And I still, 8 years later, have not seen his headstone. And that's really okay because, he's not there anyway, right? But when you miss those rituals of death, it's so easy to pretend that they're still here. They're just a little bit quieter than they were before. But he is still here in many ways. He does send me signs. Lots of friends might send you like butterflies or maybe a ladybug landing on your lapel. He sends me bats.
What?
Sometimes they're alive, a couple times dead. And I've never seen so many bats in my life as I have since he's died. And I always know it's him because we had chased bats through his house before. And, well, rather, the bats, they chased us. And so recently I thought, well, maybe I'll do a meditative session, and that will help me come to terms with his loss, and maybe that'll stop the dreams. So I called up my therapist, and she said, okay, close your eyes. Imagine you're in a meadow. And I had to laugh, because is there no gayer fucking setting than a meadow? Come on, lady. But he was there, and we had a minute together. And what's that new thing everybody's saying? He held space for me in that gay-ass meadow. It was nice. And I guess if you have to take some positives away from his death, you can say it did shake my friends back together. AOL became obsolete and we like each other on social media. But after his death, almost all of my boys have found their way back to me. And now we talk about those days past on the roof, drinking Captain Morgan and Coke. And now I'm a much more numerically mature woman, looking in the mirror. And when I see myself, I do start to judge, like many of us women do. And I wonder, maybe a little Botox, or get rid of those crow feet just a little bit, or make sure I paint my hair so no grays show through. And then I think about Keith, and I think about that he is responsible for some of those grays, and the death of my laugh lines. And what I wouldn't give for them to be just a little bit deeper if it meant that he could be here by my side. But he can't, because he is dead.
It AOL. Rebranding. If you've never been on AOL, make some noise, the few Americans. I'm not doing it. You had a screen name. Do you remember what your screen name was?
Sassy Girl 94.
Oh my God! Well, I didn't remember remember for years, and my brother just reminded me recently that mine was chicken quesadilla. I've always been funny. No, I think that's tremendous, and I feel really bad for Alive Keith because he's got a shittier nickname. Amazing, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome our next storyteller.